Despite what looks like gridlock in the Senate, the battle over health care in the House is heating up.
11 House Republicans signing a discharge petition to force a vote on a one-year extension of the supersized subsidies. For more, let's bring in House Majority Whip and Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer. Congressman Emmer, so grateful for your time this evening. I want to pick up there on this discharge petition because it seems like there's not enough support to really bring that to a vote. But I understand there's also reporting that the House GOP is preparing to introduce another package, another proposal. So I'm wondering if you can tell us about that proposal that is forthcoming in the next couple of days, it sounds, and whether that would include what these other GOP members want, which is an extension.
Lydia, Brian, great to be with you. First off, yes, we're working on different issues, but Republicans actually do want to address the problem. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, they just want this as a political issue, a political football for campaign purposes. The discharge petitions you're talking about, for me, those are more a message from different members that something has to happen. These enhanced tax credits are only going to impact 7% of Americans. It's like 21 million people, but 300 million people are going to see almost 20% increases. And by the way, the dirty little secret is, even for those that small 7%, it will only affect about 4% of their 20% increase. The real issue that everybody needs to be talking about and attacking is the Unaffordable Care Act. When it was passed 15 years ago, Americans will remember you were told you can keep your doctor, you'll have more choice, and your premiums will go down. Well, guess what? Just the opposite happened, and we've got to start bringing in the health insurance industry, because it's not about health care, it's about the health insurance industry that has gotten fat and wealthy over the last 15 years, while Americans have found it harder and harder to pay for the health insurance to give them access to health care. And you watch. Jamie Comer, you talk about the discharge petitions, but Jamie Comer and the Oversight Committee are going to start calling these executives before their committee and exploring why it is that insurance companies just keep getting richer and richer while Americans keep getting less and less.
Okay, so I'm totally with you on the broken economics. I think you nailed that. But my concern with this, and maybe the discharge petition is just kind of messaging to say, let's do something. But my concern is you got a lot of Republicans with a pretty healthy appetite for extending these supersized subsidies. And to me, knowing how government works, you do it for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, it's like doing it forever because you come back to it again and everybody says we got the same crisis. Do you think we'll get away from that, Congressman?
Well, I think what you're seeing is without a message for the American people, and the message needs to be the focus on these health insurance companies. My goodness, my wife and I just got our premium increase. It's another $1,000. You can't do this. I can't imagine. Everybody is fighting this all across the country, and throwing more money at the insurance companies for 7% of Americans when 300 million Americans are actually being affected is not necessarily the right answer. But those people that are doing this, they don't see another option. So what they're talking about is, let's extend them for a certain period of time and fix the real problem, which is let's find out why it is the health insurance companies are the ones that are making all the money while Americans are finding it harder and harder to afford the insurance products that would give them access to the greatest health care in the world.
Congressman, I want to ask you about your great state and Brian's great state of Minnesota.
Fellow Minnesotan here, sir. We got some problems to sort out, don't we? Go ahead.
I want to ask you about these troubling reports about the fraud that's been uncovered there under Governor Tim Walz's watch. I understand that it's one of the largest, or not the largest, instance of COVID fraud that's been uncovered to date. And the proposal there at the state level to fix this is another kind of oversight group that will just tax Minnesotans even more. Your thoughts on kind of getting down to the root cause of the fraud, and how are you going to hold Governor Walz accountable for this?
Well, two really big questions. First, the root cause of the fraud would be Tim Walz and Keith Ellison. Before Keith Ellison, there was a Democrat attorney general named Lori Swanson that was actually investigating and prosecuting Somali daycare fraud. Lori Swanson ran for the Democrat nomination to run for governor in 2018 against who? Tim Walz. At the same time, Keith Ellison was running for her spot in the Attorney General's office. Well, after Walz and Ellison won, Ellison made a pronouncement in his office, I'm told, that there would be no more investigations without his express approval. And what apparently they've allowed to happen is they have allowed this fraud to occur. And by the way, I want to make a point, because I was about to say the Somali community. Not all Somalis are criminals. It just so happens that, for instance, out of the 87 people charged in the largest pandemic fraud case, the Feeding Our Future, 250 million, 90% of them were from the Somali community. The 80 centers, the autism centers that are being investigated right now, there's one Somali woman who built $14 million out of a Medicaid program by recruiting other Somalis to put their children in the autism clinics. I mean, based on the numbers, 1 out of 16 Somali 4-year-olds allegedly is autistic. That is more than 3 times the state average. Oz has identified major Medicaid fraud. I mean, if you look back just a few years ago, it was about $3 billion or $3 million under that program, I believe, that involved the autism centers. Guess what? It's grown to $400 million. They had a Medicaid housing program that they started in 2020. They estimated it was going to cost about $2 million a year. Guess what? Over the first 4 years, they built $100 million out of that program, and they shut it down in October this year because of the fraud, and they'd already sucked out another $61 million. So your second question, if the whistleblowers that are coming forward are real, and if they can document what they are claiming, which is that they told Tim Walz about the fraud, and he not only ignored them, but he retaliated against him, there's criminal activity here that needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent.
Okay, that's an important update, sir. And I hope Minnesotans can figure out that the folks who messed all this up are not the folks who are going to fix it. We got to leave it there. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, thanks for being with us today. Good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.